now and in the future. We welcome the use of the Welsh language at meetings. I have had no requests for people to speak Welsh today, so this meeting will be conducted in English only. Members in the chamber, please be aware that we're all on camera and you may be visible on screen when people around you are speaking. And please remember to speak clearly into your microphones. Members participating remotely, can you please refrain from using the chat function and instead use the raised hand icon to indicate when you want to speak. Please remember to keep your microphones muted when you're not talking. Moving on to the agenda. Agenda item 1, the appointment of the presiding member on page 3 of the agenda. Jason Lewis, Director of Corporate Services and Head of Democratic Services, could you present this report for us, please?
Thank you. Good morning, members. The first item on your agenda this morning is the appointment of a presiding member who will chair meetings of the Council for the forthcoming year. The criteria for appointment is set out in section 4 of the report. With this in mind, can I have a nomination, please, for presiding member for the forthcoming year?
Can I move Rose Seaborn?
Thank you.
Can I second?
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Thank you, members. Can I ask members if they agree to elect Councillor Seaborn for the year ahead? Thank you. Thank you, members. Congratulations, Councillor Seaborn. You've been appointed as presiding member for the forthcoming year.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, members, for the confidence that you're showing me. It is appreciated. Takes us to agenda item 2, the appointment of the deputy presiding member on page 5 of your agenda. The recommendation is on page 5 of the agenda to appoint a deputy presiding member for the municipal year ahead. Can I ask for nominations for the deputy presiding member, please?
Can I nominate Stuart Ashley, please?
Can I second?
And a seconder, Richard Clark. Thank you. Are there any more nominations? Thank you very much. Can I ask members if you agree with the nominations for Stuart Ashley for deputy presiding member? Thank you. That's carried.
Can I say thank you very much for confidence for putting me there. I've only spoken 5 minutes as the deputy, and hope that's the case this year as well, to be quite frank. The presiding member does a brilliant job.
Thank you, Councillor Ashley. Takes us to agenda item 3, which is the apologies for absence. Dominique, have we any apologies, please?
I've had apologies from Councillors David Williams and Lucy Williams.
Thank you, Dominique. Is there any other apologies? No, thank you very much. Takes us to agenda item 4, which is the declarations of interest. Eleth Harris, Monitoring Officer, do you have any advice for members, please?
Thank you, Madam Presiding Member. All members potentially have the same personal interest in appointing members to positions which would attract senior salaries, but the interest is not prejudicial in view of the exemption in the Code of Conduct. So could I ask all members to confirm that interest, please? Thank you. Also, the following members wish to declare a personal interest as they have relatives sitting as a councillor. So they are Councillors Catherine Bonera and Councillor Elizabeth Haynes. Could I ask both councillors to confirm? Thank you. Councillors Joanne Gordon and Councillor Carl Gordon.
Confirm.
Thank you. And Councillor Gaynor James and Councillor John James. Thank you, Madam Presiding Member.
Thank you. Members, do you have any other interest to declare? Thank you. Takes us to agenda item 5, the election of the leader of the council. The recommendation is on page 7 of the agenda to elect a leader for the forthcoming municipal year. Can I ask for the nominations, please?
Can I nominate Anthony Hunt?
Thank you.
Richard Clark.
And Richard Clark. Thank you.
Can I not accept that nomination? I don't have to
Yes.
accept it.
Do I have a seconder for that nomination? First of all, for Anthony Hunt. Thank you. Do I have a seconder for Richard Clark? Thank you. And Richard Clark is declining. So we have one nomination. Any other nominations? Thank you. Can we ask members for the support for Anthony Hunt for the nomination? Thank you. Anyone against? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. That's carried. Leader, you're appointed. Can I ask the leader if he wishes to say anything briefly?
Thank you, Presiding Member. I'd like to thank members for their support, and I look forward to working with you on the challenges we face both as a society and as a council like any other. Those challenges, of course, are resourcing services whilst keeping bills down, dealing with the threat of climate change and sustainability, thinking of the future generations of Torvine residents, building on the work we've done to improve educational standards, caring for those in need, both young and old, improving our local environment and maximising people's opportunities to get out in it to build their physical health and mental well-being, and making Torvine a better place to live and work, building on our local economy and working regionally to help secure better jobs closer to home. So I'd like to thank members for their support in that. Of course, none of those challenges will be easy to address. They're not going to be addressed by shouty slogans or populism. They'll be addressed by us working in a concerted way together at all levels of government to try and tackle the challenges that we face. So I look forward over the next 12 months to working with you to meet that challenge and to drive our area forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. That takes us to agenda item 6, the election of the Deputy Leader for the Council. On page 9 of the agenda, the recommendation is on page 9 to elect the Deputy Leader for the forthcoming municipal year. Can I ask for a nomination for the Deputy Leader, please?
Can I move Richard Clark?
Thank you. Is there a seconder for Richard Clark? Thank you. Any other nominations? Thank you very much. Can I ask if all members are in favour of Richard Clark for the Deputy Leadership? Thank you very much. That's carried. Thank you, members. Agenda item 7, the appointment of the remaining Cabinet members on page 11. Can I invite the Leader to present the report, please?
Thank you, Presiding Member, and I'll draw members' attention to the fact that I'm appointed to the new portfolios as agreed by Council last month. So for the portfolio of Children, Families and Education, I'd like to appoint Richard Clark, the portfolio of Corporate Governance and Performance, Peter Jones, the portfolio of Resources, Susan Morgan, Adult Services and Housing, David Daniels, Economy, Skills and Regeneration, Joe Gordon, Environment, Mandy Owen, and Communities, Fiona Cross.
Thank you, Leader. Do I have seconders for those nominations?
Second.
Thank you. All in favour? Thank you very much. It's carried. Agenda item 8, the political balance, which is on page 13. Jason Lewis, Corporate Director, Resources and Head of Democratic Services. Could you please present the report for the political balance, please?
Thank you, Madam Presiding Member. This report is to inform members of the political balance requirements and to seek agreement to the political balance for the year ahead. Current legislation requires the distribution of seats on committees and subcommittees to be on the basis of political proportionality, so far as is reasonably practicable. The distribution of committee places between political groups needs to have regard to these rules. Political groups are therefore entitled to seats on committees in proportion to their membership of the Council as a whole. Non-group councillors are not entitled to any seats on committees according to the legislation. The Council is required to review the political balance annually, and the principles of political balance are set out in paragraph 4.3 of this report. The two stages to achieving political proportionality on committees is firstly allocating the required number of seats on each committee to each political group as appropriate, and secondly, giving effect to such allocations by appointing individual members to serve on the individual committees. These two stages mean that Council is required to agree the political balance for 23-24 and then allocate seats on committees to each political group in line with this. The political balance calculations for the forthcoming year are included as Appendix A.
Thank you. The recommendations are on page 14. The Council agrees the political balance and adopts the political balance calculations and is agreed to them when appointing members to the committees later in this meeting. Can I ask members whether they agree with this recommendation? Thank you. Anyone against? Any abstentions? That's carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jason. Agenda item 9, which is the appointment of chairs of committee. Can I invite the Leader to nominate the chairs of the committees listed in paragraph 3.3 of the report on page 17?
Thank you, Rose, and these were made in consultation with the relevant group leaders, and I'd like to thank them for their work on this. So, Cleaner, Communities Overview and Scrutiny Committee is David Williams. Education Overview and Scrutiny Committee is Rose Seaborn. Healthier Communities Overview and Scrutiny Committee is Janet Jones. Prosperous Communities Overview and Scrutiny Committee is Mark Jones. Cross-Cutting Resources and Business Overview and Scrutiny Committee is Stuart Ashley. Planning Committee is Norma Parish. Statutory and General Licensing Committee is Stephen Evans. Pensions Committee is Nathan Yole. And Democratic Services Committee is Ron Burnett.
Thank you. Can I invite members to second that nomination?
Second.
Thank you. Can I ask members if they agree with those nominations? Thank you. Anyone against? Any abstentions? That's carried. Thank you very much. Agenda item 10, committees, groups and other bodies on page 19. Members, the list have been circulated. Can I ask members if they agree? I think you've had an email, so can I ask members if they agree with those lists? Thank you. Any comment or any details that we need to be aware of? No? That's carried. Anybody against that list? Any abstentions? That's carried, I think. Thank you. So those groups are agreed. Agenda item 11, nominations to outside bodies on page 21. Members, the lists have been circulated to the outside bodies. Can I ask members if you agree with the list? All those in favour? Anyone against? Any abstentions? Thank you, that's carried. Agenda item 12, nominations to members' champions on page 23. Can I invite the leader to nominate the member champion listed in Appendix A of the report on page 25? Invite a seconder to nominate those. So, leader, please.
Thank you, Presiding Member. As you say, they're listed at Appendix A, page 25 of our agenda today. Member champions fall into two groups, as agreed at Council last month. The first group being portfolio holders, whose responsibilities are champion in line with their existing portfolio, and the second group being the non-portfolio member champions that I will propose at this meeting for agreement for Council. So the age-friendly champion, which is previously the older person champion, is the Adult Service Executive Member, that's David Daniels. The Equalities and Diversity champion is the Exec Member for Corporate Governance, which is Peter Jones. The Anti-Poverty champion falls under the portfolio of the Leader of the Council, so that will be taken up by myself. The Young Persons champion will be taken up by the Exec Member for Children, Families and Education, which is Richard Clark. So the second group then are the non-portfolio member champions. So the member training and development champion will be the Chair of Democratic Services, which is Ron Burnett. The Armed Forces champion will be Gaynor James. The Carers champion will be David Daniels. The Sustainability champion will be Stuart Ashley. The World Heritage champion, Janet Jones. The Motor Neuron Disease champion, Giles Davis. And the Dementia champion, Mandy Owen. So I'd like to thank all members for their agreement to take on those roles, and I look forward to working with them on some really important agendas there across the year.
Thank you very much, Leader. Members, do you agree with those nominations? Thank you. Anyone against? Any abstentions? Thank you very much for that, Leader. That's the end of the Council meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance, I believe. I just checked my agenda. Yeah. Thank you very much for your attendance. Nice, short and sweet this morning.